1 year ago, the world called it a fluke. They said Hansi Flick's so-called heavy metal football was nothing more than an adrenaline shot, a temporary surge of intensity that would burn itself out before spring. They said the high defensive line would be exposed by smarter teams. They said the young legs would tire. They said La Liga wasn't the Bundesliga. They said Barcelona would collapse under pressure. But today, those voices are silent. Because after 22 matches, Barcelona sits top of La Liga with 55 points. They lead Real Madrid by just 1 point. But here's the truth. The gap feels far wider than that. Why? Because Barcelona has already won the psychological war. This season, they didn't just beat Real Madrid. They humiliated them in the Super Copa. They edged them out in a historic Copa del Rey final. They stared directly into the soul of their greatest rival and blinked last. This is no longer about winning games. This is about a manager who installed a software update into a club that had forgotten how to be ruthless. In today's deep dive, we're going far beyond the table. We're breaking down the tactics, the statistics, the individual evolutions, and the hidden mechanisms that make a consecutive La Liga title feel not just possible, but inevitable. This is the story of Flick's Barcelona 2.0. To understand why nobody can stop this Barcelona team, you must first understand one thing. This is not the same system Flick brought in 2025. Back then, it was about shock. The press was aggressive, the line was high, the tempo was relentless. It overwhelmed teams, but it was raw. In 2026, that chaos has been refined into something far more dangerous. What we're seeing now is Flick System 2.0. Barcelona is currently recovering the ball in the opposition's final third more than any team in Europe, averaging 12.4 high turnovers per match. But here's the key difference. They're no longer pressing everywhere. They're pressing where it hurts most. Flick has introduced pressing traps, zones where opponents are invited to pass, only to be swarmed instantly. The wingers angle their runs. The midfield steps forward in sync. The back line compresses space aggressively. It's not chaos anymore. It's a net. And once you're caught in it, escape is almost impossible. Now let's talk about the real secret weapon, fitness. Under Flick, Barcelona's average distance covered per match has increased by 15% compared to the Xavi era. But this isn't mindless running. This is intelligent exertion. Barcelona players sprint less randomly. They conserve energy during controlled possession phases, and then explode into action at exactly the right moment. This is why they've scored 22 goals in the final 15 minutes of matches this season. While other teams are hitting the red zone, Barcelona is shifting into fifth gear. Camp Nou has become a fortress of endurance. In a 38-game marathon like La Liga, talent wins games, but fitness wins titles. Every great system begins with trust, and for Flick, that trust begins with Joan Garcia. When he arrived from Espanyol in 2025, the pressure was suffocating. Replacing Marc-Andre ter Stegen is not a job, it's a burden. But Joan Garcia didn't just replace him, he evolved the role. With a 77.4% save percentage and 8 clean sheets in 16 matches, Garcia is statistically the best goalkeeper in Spain. But stats don't tell the full story. His sweeper-keeper actions are in the 98th percentile across Europe. He plays like an auxiliary center back, constantly positioned 30 to 40 yards from goal. This single factor allows Flick to push the defensive line almost to the halfway line, with confidence. Garcia doesn't panic. He commands space. He kills counterattacks before they even begin. If Joan Garcia is the foundation, then Pau Cubarsi is the pillar. At just 19 years old, Cubarsi is already one of the most composed center backs in world football. His passing accuracy this season sits at an astonishing 94.8%, often under intense pressure. But this isn't safe passing. This is progressive control. Cubarsi doesn't just defend, he dictates. He steps into midfield, he draws pressure, he breaks lines, and most importantly, he executes Barcelona's most devastating move, the 40-yard diagonal to Lamine Yamal. That pass alone has dismantled entire defensive blocks this season. Cubarsi is not a prospect anymore. He's a general. If you love the beautiful game, stick with us. Subscribe and see all our future football videos. Then there's the cult hero, Gerard Martin, nicknamed Gerard Maldini by fans. His rise has been meteoric. Primarily a left-back, Martin has filled in at center-back 6 times this season. Barcelona has won every single one of those matches. Why? Because Martin understands the system. He provides balance. While Alejandro Balde bombs forward like a winger, Martin holds shape, anticipates danger, and quietly racks up 9.2 recoveries per game. He is the glue, the player who allows others to shine. Every dynasty has one. Now we move into the heart of the team, the midfield. And this is where Flick's genius truly reveals itself. Pedri, the grand architect. Pedri is having the most dominant season of his career. Freed from defensive drudgery, Flick has turned him into the grand architect. With 8 assists and a league-high 2.8 key passes per game, Pedri controls tempo like a conductor. He decides when Barcelona attacks. He decides when they rest. He decides when the game slows down and when it explodes. In this 4-2-3-1 system, Pedri is the brain. But every architect needs chaos. Enter Fermin Lopez. Since signing his contract extension through 2031, Fermin has exploded. 10 goals, 11 assists. He is the ultimate Flick midfielder. Relentless, fearless, unpredictable. Fermin specializes in the late arrival. While defenders fixate on Lewandowski, Fermin ghosts into space. His performance against Real Oviedo, a 3-goal masterclass, was the perfect example of spatial exploitation. When you have a midfielder who defends like a warrior and scores like a striker, you're playing with 12 men. Now we arrive at the nightmare, Barcelona's attack. Lamine Yamal, the king. At 18 years old, Lamine Yamal is no longer the future. He is the present. 12 goals, 12 assists, 20 matches. He leads La Liga in successful dribbles. But the biggest evolution is his decision-making. He no longer just beats defenders. He kills games. One touch, one pause, one pass. Checkmate. Then there's the resurrection story, Marcus Rashford, written off in England, reborn in Catalonia. His lone move was a gamble. It paid off spectacularly. With 10 goals and 10 assists, Rashford provides verticality, something Barcelona hasn't had since Neymar. He stretches defenses, creates space, opens the golden zone for Pedri and Yamal. This is Rashford unleashed. Rafinha, the captain. 13 goals, relentless pressing, emotional leadership, and finally, Robert Lewandowski. At 37 years old, he still delivers. 16 goals across competitions. But now he offers more. He attracts defenders, creates gravity, opens lanes. This front four is impossible to double team. Someone is always free. Or here's the truth. Real Madrid is a collection of stars. Barcelona is a symphony. Best defense in the league. Most creative midfield. Attack averaging 2.7 goals per game. Madrid is playing for pride. Barcelona is building a dynasty. With the Copa del Rey already secured and a squad that is fitter, younger, and tactically superior. The 2026 La Liga title isn't a target. It's an inevitability. Hansi Flick has brought fear back to Camp Nou. So now the question is yours. Can anyone find a chink in the armor of this 2026 Barcelona squad? Or is it time to just hand them the trophy now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that subscribe button to stay updated on the title race. And as always, Visca el Barça.